Hi everyone, I'm Sabrina, lawyer at Varity Law. As many of our viewers know, a year ago I moved from Richmond Hill to East Gwillimbury for a more family-friendly environment for my young children. There, I had the pleasure of getting to know our seasoned realtor and broker, Mr. Greg Hart. Thank you for joining our video today.
Hey, I'm Greg and I am a real estate broker at Main Street Realty, mostly in Newmarket. Thank you for inviting me to chat with you today. It feels like a lifetime since I've moved my young family from Toronto to Newmarket way back in 1988. The area has changed dramatically since we arrived.
Well, I simply love the East Gwillimbury and Newmarket regions for their quiet and family-friendly environment. So here, me and my children donate to the local library, we visit parks and splash pads every weekend, and we secure spots in high-quality schools. So Greg, what do you love most about the area?
Well, what I love most about is the revitalized historic Main Street downtown core. There's so much to offer people of all ages. There's walking and biking trails around Fairy Lake, many parks and a splash pad for kids. There are many fantastic restaurants and a vibrant arts community. There's something for everyone.
Well, in addition to being a great place to raise a family, I know the area also have excellent investment opportunities. Me and my husband are actually thinking of buying an investment property here a few years down the line.
Well, Newmarket and East Gwillimbury offer investors a great selection of urban and rural properties. There are homes of every size and configuration to suit a wide range of budgets. Historically, the property value appreciation has kept up with other York regions as well. The proximity to amenities and to transportation has made this area very attractive to quality tenants.
All right, so for our first-time home buyers out there, they may not entirely be clear on what a realtor is supposed to do for their clients. So Greg, let's say I plan to buy a property through you. What is the process of working with you?
Well, it's a great question. We first love to meet with our buyers as soon as possible to ask questions and really listen to what they have to say. Understanding our clients' goals and dreams is the first most important step. Sabrina, did you know that shopping for homes and viewing properties rates is one of the most fun and exciting things people experience? However, studies have shown that when you're offering to purchase a home, that can be one of the top 10 most stressful things a person experiences in their life. So to mitigate that stress, we like to review a few topics with our clients before we start shopping for properties.
Okay, so what are the topics that cause stress?
Well, it first starts with financing. Most buyers will need financing, and we always recommend that they talk to a few banks and mortgage brokers and find one who they feel comfortable working with, and find financing with features and options important to them, as well as a great rate. They need to establish a comfortable budget and obtain a pre-approval. And the next is the deposit. After a buyer and a seller sign off on an offer, the buyers must put in a deposit. And the size of the deposit can be very strategic in negotiations, and the details surrounding how and where the deposit is held can be confusing to all the parties to the transaction. So buyers will likely negotiate a condition in their offer to have a home inspector look at the property and buildings. We will explain an inspector's role and also an inspector's limitations. At one point, a buyer will need to sign a representation agreement with the realtor they choose to work with. We review these agreements ahead of time with buyers in detail, so there's no surprises or misunderstandings. Now, lastly, buyers need a great lawyer to ensure that their property purchase successfully closes. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I'll talk about closing later on in this video. Now let's jump ahead to when me and my husband do retire decades later, and we plan to sell our current principal residence and move to a penthouse condo, hopefully. So what is like working with you when selling a property? What would you say is unique about you and your team compared to other realtors?
Well, Sabrina, I love this question. I've been a full-time realtor for now over 11 years. And what that means to sellers is that when they're at work, so is their part-time realtor. But when the seller is at work, I will be at work selling their home. So most importantly, when you work with me, I can promise you two things. First, nobody will outwork me. And secondly, I will always tell you the truth. I provide my clients with facts and my insight so that they can make informed decisions.
Well, I love that. Can you share a little bit about your team?
Yeah, great question as well. I'm lucky to work with my wife, Kathy, and my son, Ian. All three of us are full-time licensed realtors, and we all have a unique passion and focus. Kathy takes care of all the administrative duties. She is our glue. She makes sure none of the smaller details get missed. Now, similarly, when your home goes on the market, another just like yours can hit the MLS at the same time. So making your home stand out is Ian's specialty. Ian's focus is marketing your home and all of our social media.
All right. So let's say Greg has helped you seal the deal when buying or selling a property. The job is only half done at this point. You still need to hire a real estate lawyer to close the property for you.
Yes, and I know that most people find this process even more confusing, given the huge amount of legal paperwork.
For sure. So many find it so overwhelming that they simply want a lawyer to tell them what to do and where to sign. But we do things differently at Varity Law. We will explain all the different options to our clients and encourage them to pick the best options for themselves.
Wow, can you share those options with me?
Yeah, of course. So for example, how you go on title. When there are more than one buyer, you can go on title as joint tenants, meaning that when one owner passes, the other owner inherits the share automatically. Or you can go on title as tenants in common, each holding a specific percentage. This means when one owner passes, their share gets passed down according to their will, or if there's no will, according to estate legislation. The surviving owner must go through the legal process of applying for a court approval document before they can inherit the deceased owner's shares.
Wow, so even a decision like that have completely different consequences.
Yeah, for sure. And what many people fail to understand is that buying real estate is more like tax planning than a one-time transaction. The decisions you make affects you many years down the line.
How so?
Well, for example, let's say in order to save on estate administration taxes, the parents decided to add their son onto title as a joint tenant. That way, when the parents pass, their son can inherit the property automatically without having to apply for court approval or paying the 1.5% estate administration taxes.
Well, that sounds great.
It does, but then it creates two new problems. First, the moment they add their son onto title, he would have a say on all decisions regarding the property. If the parents want to sell the property, rent it out, or refinance it, they need their son to sign an agreement. If they cannot reach a consensus, then they cannot proceed with those actions.
And that may create a lot of disagreements with the family.
Oh, for sure. And if the son gets married one day and his spouse also decides to live in the property, then the property becomes his matrimonial home. If the spouse decides to divorce him one day, then the spouse is legally entitled to half of the son's share in the property.
Oh my, I bet the parents wouldn't want that and couldn't foresee that unless the lawyer told them beforehand.
Exactly. Another common misconception is that any problem related to the property is attached to the previous owners. So for example, if the sellers have debt or litigation or did illegal renovations in the past, so only the sellers will be responsible since they're the ones who started those things.
Well, isn't that the case?
Unfortunately, no. Many debt, litigation, and illegal renovation attached to the property itself. This means that if those bad things were not dealt with, were removed before closing, the innocent buyers inherit those problems. So you must ensure your lawyers resolve all of those issues before closing.
Wow, that sounds scary if they're left unresolved.
Oh, for sure. And mortgage financing requires long-term planning as well. So for instance, if you decide to sell your property before your mortgage term is up, you're required to pay a hefty prepayment interest penalty. The earlier you do this during the term, the more the penalty. It is not unusual to see tens of thousands of dollars in interest penalties.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and the same applies if the property owner passes away during the term of the mortgage. Unfortunately, both passing away and selling the property are considered breaching the mortgage contract, and both will result in interest penalties and the banks having the right to sell the property to cover their losses.
Wow, those things are definitely good to know beforehand. Now, Sabrina, what are some of the best advice you can give to our buyers and sellers during closing?
Well, for our buyers, I have two advice. First, have a real estate lawyer review your offer before you sign it, or have your realtor include a solicitor review condition. You do not want to have problems like having to inherit an expensive rental item or having to spend money to fix all the broken windows at closing. Second, budget widely. You want to include high expenses like land transfer tax when planning for your down payment and mortgage. Your lawyer should be providing you with a detailed breakdown of all costs, including land transfer tax, before you hire them.
That's right. The worst thing is to be short on cash near closing day.
That's for sure. And for our sellers, you want to limit your obligations to the buyer as much as possible. Especially, you don't want to allow the buyers to back out of the signed offer due to frivolous reasons like a broken washer. How much you promise to give must be clearly spelled out in the offer. And for more information, please watch our last month's video on APS breaches.
So in conclusion, I urge buyers and sellers looking to raise a family or to invest to look into East Gwillimbury and Newmarket. This area is known for great family communities, great schools, a world-class hospital, shopping and entertainment, and access to public transit. Our team has extensive knowledge and experience in these areas and would be happy to help you look for your dream home.
All right. Thank you, Greg, for joining us today. To our viewers, we will see you in our next month's video.